So thanks everybody for coming out. My name is Brian Poiser. I'm the Director of Art Services for the Austin Film Society. And the screening of Guatemalan Handshake and the one that we just did, Treeless Mountain, is part of our Texas Filmmakers Production Fund week. It's a grant program for Texas filmmakers that's been going on since 1996. We give money away to emerging filmmakers in Texas. This year we're actually going to pass the $1 million mark. We will have given away, $1 million to Texas filmmakers in that time. And as part of that, we always bring in 3 filmmakers, accomplished filmmakers, usually from outside of the state. There's one exception that I'm going to tell you about in a moment, to make the final grant decisions about who's going to get the production funds. So Young Kim, who just showed her movie Treeless Mountain, is one of our panelists, and another of our panelists is Todd Rohal, who actually just moved to Austin like 10 days ago. So if you guys could give a warm welcome to Austin applause line to Todd Rohal. Thank you. Our third panelist is Mike Plant, who's sitting right over there. And we're actually going to be showing work in progress. We have this series called Docs in Progress that happens at the Austin Studios screening room. And so this is a very special one where we're going to be showing a documentary that Mike has been working on for a number of years. And it's open to all AFS members. If you haven't signed up for it, go onto our website tonight or tomorrow and sign up. So it'll be tomorrow night at 7, so hopefully you can come out to that. And thanks again to Todd and Mike. And so you guys are going to be worked like rented mules after tonight, looking at the applications. So thanks for your hard work on our behalf.
Where did you find Turkey Legs? And I thought she was fantastic.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, the cast of the film was all locally. We decided we were going to shoot in around Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. We found this town called Dillsburg, and then decided to cast the film with the people living there that had never acted before. We did a casting call that said, if you look like Ashton Kutcher, don't show up to our casting call. But like, if you've never acted before, you know, like we're looking for real people. And so all these people in the film, most of them had never, ever, not any kind of acting or had any interest in it. The lead older guy was the husband of a woman that was auditioning that we talked into coming, and we just kind of befriended. So that was, you know, like it was just sort of a different, yeah, we just kind of wanted to cast it with people that you would never have seen in a movie before. No one should be identifiable in it to you, you know. And it just feel like this film really came out of nowhere, that you don't really know where. That was my intention. I was hoping that it just felt like just being placed in this thing, or that you think you're showing up to a documentary about Colombia drug trade or something. I don't know, you know. And then we did have a lot of Guatemalan people show up to the film, and you know, some interesting reactions.
What about Will Olin? He's obviously a pretty famous guy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, he's the lead guy who plays Donald is a musician. He tends to not do a lot of publicity, so a lot of people didn't, you know, no one in this film knew who he was that was working on it. I mean, I did, I was a fan of his. Some of the crew people knew who he was, but, you know, it was like the guy who played Curtis, the big black guy. He was giving him musician tips and stuff once when he heard he was a musician and stuff, and it was really fun for us to watch that kind of thing happen. But he was somebody that I had written a bunch of other roles for, and I had sent him the script asking him to be a background character, to somebody that's in the background, and he just said, is there something more substantial? And this was before he did Old Joy, because it took us longer to finish this, but so he hadn't really acted that much before that. I just assumed he didn't, and he just drove up in his Subaru one day and spent a week and a half with us and then disappeared, and I haven't talked to him since. I've heard that he's seen the film and that he likes it, but I don't know if that's true.
Well, speaking of cars, I do have to know, I think a lot of us need to know, where did you find that car?
The car is a 1981 commuter car. It was designed by a guy in Baltimore. It's a fully electric.
Is there only one of them?
No, there's roughly 1,000,
Wow.
but it may be here in Austin if the move continues to go as well as it has. Yeah, those are like fully electric. I found one on the side of the road and bought it and wrote it into the script. And we took it out to Park City, Utah for the premiere of the film at Slamdance in 2006, and drove it around there, and John Malkovich took a shining to it, for those who like stories about stars. And yeah, so that I own that car still.
Wow.
Yes.
Had you worked much with children before on your projects, and how did you interact with having like one child basically or two children on this set that's mostly adults?
Oh right, yeah. The kids I had worked with, and I did 4 short films before that's gearing up to make this, and I mean over the course of a few years, and I would always have kids in the films, and I don't know. There's just something about there's something about like I think non-actors and kids. I mean, you're kind of on it's like an equal playing ground. So when you're working with an 80-year-old that's never acted before and an 8-year-old, it's weird who picks up what. You know, the kids are actually more receptive to a lot of things and brought a lot of their own. Everybody brought kind of their own, you know, personalities and ideas to it.
Juxtapose the sweet small town scenes with the throat singing. Seems really brilliant, actually. And I was wondering, I don't know, are those originals, the throat singing, was that those recordings original to this film, or did you find that somewhere else?
Not for this film. They've been used in 2 other different movies. I contacted this guy in San Francisco. I did a lot of music researching kind of for this film, like of the tracks that aren't scored for the film, you know, like those. And that's a guy that, yeah, he lives in Tuba. There's a book called Tuba or Bust about the search for this physicist Richard Feynman, is that his name, and this other guy, Ralph Layton, that went to Tuba and actually tracked this music down after hearing it on a radio. And there's another film called Genghis Blues that's very similar about a guy, and it's the same guy that he goes to find, actually. And we actually were able to send him a check directly to pay for the music. They went to a school to teach more kids how to sing like that. It's a really kind of rare thing. But no, those tracks were pulled specifically for this and then cut to that. And then the last track on it was from a Russian CD that I found over like LimeWire, just downloading music as much as I could and then having to track backwards, figuring out where those songs came from on someone's hard drive somewhere, you know what I mean? And then finding it that way. And that was kind of, yeah, that music should, also I didn't want banjo kind of stuff over the cars driving by, and so I wanted to kind of have this, that it's not just America, it's, you know, it's my specific memories of growing up or wherever these ideas came from, but that it should feel like, I don't know, I just have these ideas that, yeah, growing up in Austria is very similar to growing up in the United States in terms of a lot of different, you know, a lot of different things. Just growing up in the country is kind of similar, or growing up in those kind of developing areas is similar, so that was maybe a little bit of my social commentary. Just kidding.